If there was no ODP, or Oromo Democratic Organization, is it possible to reach where Oromo politics is reached today?
We can't really conclude that ODP or the previous PDO has done nothing. We can't really. Even the change that we witness today is it's partly the contribution of this party. Even the demographic change that we observe today, these educated youth, the elites, are partly outcome of this party. No one can deny, and it's really not appropriate to say that the party has not done anything, but the party could have done something better. Very obvious. The party could have done something better. I mean, I can mention a lot of that. I mean, we usually hear on media that a lot of contributions that the party has done. I don't want to mention that again, but we should not. I mean, it's not right to deny this fact that we can observe on the ground in all aspects. You know, this social development, particularly the infrastructure that we observe. At least what they have done, in education itself is adequate. Really, I can say. Adequate in the sense they have contributed something in all aspects in our economy, in our social development, in politics by itself. They contribute something, but it's not sufficient. It's not sufficient. We can claim that way. So now the demands are increasing, the pressure is increasing. So the party has to be restructured and rebranded. Unless you amend your structure, organizational setup, and the constitution of the party itself, and the program, the economic, the political, and the social programs of the party. Using the previous setup is very difficult to address the current issue, because using an old system, it's difficult to address a new problem using an old system. That's very difficult. So nowadays we are having new problems, new demands, and very serious pressure from the public. So we need to have a new system, a new structure. And it's also natural. It's natural we can't avoid change, actually. We can't avoid change. We're living in a dynamic world, and everything is changing, both internally, at local level, at national level, at international level. So we have to go along with the changing circumstances. So I believe the previous contributions are okay. There are inadequacies, obviously. There are inadequacies. Now it is important for the party to restructure itself and to do something better for the people that it represents.
And let's come to the recognition of Dr. Abiy Ahmed, the Nobel Peace Prize, that the world recognized as the Prime Minister. Not actually the individual person, but also the country as well. And you have also tweeted that congratulatory message to the Prime Minister. What do you say on that?
Yeah, that's a great success and accomplishment for the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, as an individual, and it's a great accomplishment for the nation as well. We have to, even as an individual citizen, it is something that we have to feel proud of, obviously. I say this because it has several implications. It has several implications for the nation, implication for our economy, and implication for the coming generation as well. Look, this nation, for a very long time, has been known for its poverty, even famine before, and social conflict. Even we had civil war for a very long time, particularly during the military regime for about 2 decades. For nearly 17 years we had civil war. We are known for migration and a lot of ugly facets, actually. Now, the Nobel Prize awarded to our Prime Minister will obviously change this dimension and this image of the nation. I met I met some foreigners, during some trainings and visits abroad, that when I tell them that I'm from Ethiopia, what immediately comes to their mind is that poor country, Ethiopia. I mean, they know the nation, for its poverty, famine, migration, and things like that. Even it was written in one of the dictionary that Ethiopia is taken as an example of famine to that extent. Now, hopefully, this image will be changed in the future.
So how citizens of the country, and especially scholars, should use this as an opportunity to change and transform this country, especially the elite, or more elites, some, not all actually, are still criticizing the Prime Minister as if the single person can transform the country. What do you say on this?
Whether we criticize him or not, we can't change anything. I mean, he's the person whom the world has recognized. So no one can undermine, or no one can deprive him of this honor, actually. And he has been awarded, because the international community, hopefully it's not arbitrarily that they awarded the Nobel Prize to the Prime Minister. They do have international standards, international criteria, whether to award a prize to somebody or not. Well, I think it is the 100th person to receive the Nobel Prize. It was started in 1901, and he's among the very few Africans to receive the Nobel, and the first Ethiopian, if I'm not wrong, the first Ethiopian to receive. So really, it's not arbitrarily that the world recognized this person and gave him, awarded him the Nobel Prize. So just even an attempt to undermine this is just undermining oneself, for me. I believe like that. Undermining a person whom the world recognized is undermining my own dignity. We have to, first of all, we have to give recognition. He deserves, regardless of some weaknesses. He's a human being. He may have some weaknesses in his leadership, or whenever you assume political position, obviously there are a lot of problems that you need to address. But there are contexts, settings that constrain you, obviously. So weaknesses are obvious, and Dr. Abiy is not also free from weakness. He may have some limitations, but regardless of the limitations in his leadership, in his political process, or other issues, we need to recognize that he is awarded a reward, a prize that he deserves. As a citizen, we have to feel proud. We have to feel proud. That's a very important issue. And we need to use this image, actually, to change again the facets of our economy, the facet of the social image that we have internationally. Because the implication is it's not all about changing the image of the nation. It has its own diplomatic implication. It has economic implication as well. Look, the willingness of those development partners to cooperate in economic development largely depends on the credibility of the leader. If they trust the leader, it will be relatively easier to attract investors, even to get donations and loan, because our economy largely relies on international donation and loan, undeniably. So that depends on the attitude of the international community, particularly the attitude of the donors and development partners on our politics, the political system, and particularly our political leaders. I think that's one of the reasons why these days we are attracting loan donations are coming, if I'm not wrong, recently, and hopefully in the future, the future will be more. It's brighter than today, hopefully. So we have to use this image to change the nation in all dimensions, actually. In all dimensions, and it has to be a pride for citizens who are living here in this nation, and particularly those who are living elsewhere. Frankly speaking, they have to feel proud. So giving recognition is the first thing that not even an Ethiopian, even an African should do. Because it's not an honor only for Ethiopia, it's an honor for Africa as well. That's what I believe in, actually.
And my final question is peace and security of higher learning institutions in Ethiopia. How should university administrations and the local as well as the national government should proactively react on such challenges? Because once the educational institutions are challenged, then the country is, whether it is directly or indirectly challenged.
Everybody, the academic institutions, the government, and the public at large should understand what's going on in our politics. Because I believe the instability and the conflicts here and there, particularly in our higher academic institution, are outcomes of the politics, actually. Obviously there are losers in this transition. As a result of the transition that we have, the change that we have today, there are conflict entrepreneurs, obviously, those who commercialized politics for personal interest or for group interest. They don't want to see any change, any improvement in this nation. So they benefit if and only if there is instability in this nation. So they use all the means, all the possible means, particularly they use those energetic and aspiring use as an instrument to quench their political interest, actually. Very evil political interest, This is what everybody should be aware of. Look, the failure of the government will be there. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure rule of law or to ensure peace and security everywhere, particularly in our academic institution. That is very true. But the political conspiracy behind, the sabotage behind by those losers and conflict entrepreneurs should be carefully understood. Everybody should understand this in the first place. Then we need to take care, actually. All the possible precautions should be taken by academic institutions and the government and the society as well. And third, our youth, particularly those in academic institutions, should be very much careful, really. Look, the future belongs to them. And their destiny, their future depends on the way they behave today. What they decide today, what they do today, what they take part today affects their destiny, their future. So they have to be careful, and they have to understand the situation that I stated as well. So their focus should be on their education. They have to focus on their education. And later on, they can join parties, or they can take part in politics. There is nothing wrong. But the major vision is just focusing on their education and improving their life and probably the life of the poor family behind them as well. That's very important. And second, the other important issue in the government should be a bit serious, really. I do understand that government does not want to be as coercive as the previous system, because we have tried, we used forces and all the coercive apparatus, our security, military, and so on for a very, very long time, but we could not get rid of the political crisis for a very long time. So I do understand that the current leaders, particularly our Prime Minister, does not want to go back to what we tried for a very long time but failed, coercion. It's not important in 21st century, actually. But at the same time, it is the primary responsibility of the government to maintain peace and security. That is the first task of the government. The first task is not democracy, it's not development, it's peace and security.
Well, viewers of Oromia Broadcasting Network, our talk show for today is all about this. Till next edition, goodbye. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.